fellas, and we're back with another episode of Ask Tony Tuesday.
If you haven't got a clue, Tony's got the answer for you.
How are you today, Tony?
I'm good. You?
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Ready for your first question of the day?
I'm ready.
How long does removal usually take, and how is it done?
Well, it all depends on how big the kitchen is, for one. There's always a couple tricky ones if somebody has a lazy Susan in a corner or something, they get a little tricky. But basically it's just, we pry them up. We got to cut underneath sometimes there's silicone down. And it's just unscrewing them and pull them out. The toughest ones are when somebody has a countertop that's tile, because we don't know what's under that tile. I hate doing those. I'd rather not do those, and I tell people, we charge, a certain amount to remove and dispose of countertops. When it comes to a countertop that has tile on it, it's so much for the first hour and then so much every additional hour, because you can literally be there all day. Because what happens is they usually screw a 1-inch plywood down to the cabinet. Then they glue and put another 1-inch plywood down on top of that, and then they tile on top of that. So first you got to remove the tile, and that's probably the easiest part, because then you have to try to find the screws to unscrew them from top. But if the top plywood is screwed to the other one, you got to remove the top one before the second one, and if they're glued, that is a fiasco. So, that those are the ones that people go, "Oh, we want you to do removal." I'm like, "You sure you don't want to save yourself some money and do the removal yourself?" Because and I feel bad, charging a lot of money for removal, but I can't have 3 guys on the job all day just doing a removal. Yeah. But sometimes it's like that. It's a problem, like you said, mica ones, they kind of unscrew. You get it underneath the cabinets, unscrew them, and they pop them off. A lot of homeowners will attempt to do it themselves. They usually get in a jam, like I said, usually near the lazy Susan in the corner, and then they call us to have us do it. It's something that, a handy guy can do. If you're handy around the house, you can do your own removal. But we do offer removal if necessary.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't even know you could have tile countertops. I didn't know that was.
Yeah, well, it was, it got popular because people wanted, and I've even seen people do granite tile countertops, thinking like, well, I want granite, I can't afford, because a lot of people used to think that to do granite countertops, it was going to cost $20,000. And it. God, I wish it was $20,000, but it's nowhere near $20,000.
No, not at all.
You could get your average 40 square foot countertop, out of a level 1, you're looking like $2,500, $2,800, somewhere in there, depending on how intricate it is, so it's not crazy. So a lot of people thought it was outrageous, it was going to be a huge expense. So they decided they were going to put tile on, or even a granite tile. They found the granite they liked, but they found it in a tile. Back, 10, 15 years ago, natural stone tile was sold a lot. You sold a lot of marble tile, granite tiles. But then, with the porcelain tile, there's not so much natural stone tile. So more often than not, you'll find a ceramic tile. But once in a while, you'll see a granite tile one, where somebody wanted granite, but they didn't want the expense of a slab granite countertop like we do, so they did tile. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look up pictures of that.
Yeah.
Gotta see what it looks like.
Well, what happens with those? The granite itself wears well, but the joints always fail.
Yep.
Because it's the grout is usually just Portland cement and color, pigment for color. So that's what fails, and then the water gets underneath.
Yep.
They start popping off. And that's the beauty of doing it in slab. You don't have that issue.
Another one.
Yes.
How long after installation should I wait to hook up the plumbing?
Okay. Well, as you know, we mount the sink, but we don't make the plumbing connection. So we do have a plumber that we do recommend if somebody doesn't have a plumber. But if you do, we usually recommend, I like to recommend that the plumber come in and do the connections the next day. You can have them come a little later once we're done. the only reason why we say to wait a little longer is because when we mount the sink, we use usually 6 clips underneath because it's an undermount sink. So the clips hold the sink in place. But we use pure silicone all the way around. And once that pure silicone dries, I mean, it's not going to move. The problem is if you don't wait for that silicone to dry, and the plumber goes and he makes the connection and he tightens it too much, that sink can move a little bit. And even if it moves that 1/4 of an inch, you look down and you see your overhang of the sink all the way around. It's different. You know, and if nobody catches that, you know, if the plumber doesn't catch it or the homeowner doesn't catch it, and then the next day after it dries, they see it, now it's a pain, because now you literally have to disconnect, go readjust the sink. So that's why we always say, you know, to give it a little time for that silicone to dry, unless you're standing right there and watch the sink when the plumber's underneath it and make sure he doesn't over tighten it. And I understand the plumber wants to make sure it's not leaking, so
Right.
you know, he's going to tighten it as much as he can. But he's got to be careful not to over tighten it in a way that that sink moves.
Yeah.
So that's why we always say wait and let the silicone dry and then have the plumbing connected.
Okay. So that's the only thing you have to wait for.
Yeah,
is
really,
that.
yeah.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have
Yeah,
for you today.
those are easy ones. I
I know. Do you want a bonus one?
You have one?
I do.
Okay.
Bonus question. Here we go.
Okay.
What is the difference between stone and rock?
Between stone and rock? Is there a difference between stone and rock?
Yeah, apparently.
Is there?
Yeah, apparently, according to Google.
According to Google, there's a difference between stone and rock. Do you know what the difference is?
I did. Like, I had it, but I didn't write it down because I was going to ask it
Oh,
you.
well, I'm
so.
thinking is, I know there's difference. Like a marble is like, you know, it's compressed over time with heat, and it's usually started as a limestone. And, you know, due to the amount of pressure and amount of heat, it turns into a marble. Granite is typically like not really pressure formed. It's just like a mass of, you know, and a lot of times it's just big chunks. Like there's like big boulders that are solid granite.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be a mountain of granite. You know, there's a place in the British Virgin Islands. It's called the Bass. That there's no granite anywhere on the island except this one area, and it's these giant granite boulders.
Oh, wow.
And nobody knows how it got there or why it's like that, and just that, but it's giant granite boulders. So I don't know if we're talking the difference of giant boulders as rocks and versus, you know, the mountains of stone, but that's the only thing I can think of.
That was actually one of the things Google
Really?
did say.
So he
It was
said,
saying that, like, stone are normally, like, the big
mountains and
mountains,
quarries, yeah.
stuff like that, and
Right.
then rocks are the little
The smaller
things that
okay.
you find on the ground.
Alright, so I'm kind of there.
Yeah, that was one of the differences.
Okay.
But all right, I'll come back to that
All right,
question.
okay.
We'll ask you that
I'll
one
have to
again.
check that one out myself.
I don't know.
Listen,
But-
we got to know everything, right?
We do.
We
We
do.
have to be the experts.
It's important, yes.
It is important. If
We-
we're informing, we have to.
That's right. We have
Be
a
informed.
responsibility to give the correct answer.
We do. We
Yes.
do. So we will get back to you on that one.
Definitely.
Now it's for real. I don't have any more questions
Okay,
for you.
all right, okay.
Those are all the questions
Okay.
today. We are also doing a coffee and donuts little gift card with a $20 either Wawa or Dunkin' gift card of your choice if you guys send in your fully finished projects. So it can be a kitchen, bathroom, bar, anything like that, but it has to be fully finished and decorated. And all you have to do is send in your pictures either to my email or to tag us on social media when you post it. We do have a post up on our Instagram and Facebook that does have my email link there. It's just Brianna at goodfellasgranitellc.com. So if you send that in, we send you a gift card of your choice, Wawa or Dunkin', and you guys can have coffee on your new countertops.
Good deal, right?
It is. I think it is.
Yeah, we didn't do this on Friday because last Friday was National Donut Day.
That's all for today, guys. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. We will be back next week with another episode, and we hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. See you later.
Thank you.
changed the ring light color today.
Softer light.
It's a little less blinding.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. That reminded me of DJ. Another one. Okay.
Give me the hardest bonus question. What the hell is different?
See, I'm trying to educate Tony. You guys hear that?